Hello. Well, I feel
Good morning, everybody.
I don't
Good morning. Good morning.
I still don't know how quick. I've never watched the start of one back to see how.
I think it's 30-second delay. I think there's like a 30-second delay.
So yeah, but when I click, but I'm saying like when I click the live button and it says live, am I like bang? I'm in there, and I'm like I'm ready to speak straight away, or is it like a little bit of a you know?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. There's probably like a small delay. Also, I know we haven't had loads of time to catch up here, but what did you appreciate the artwork on the thumbnail?
So that's what I wanted to do last night. I hate the fact that I have to use codes for everything.
It's because I've got two-step on everything I've got, so that's why it comes up with a code. So you have to have the password, and then when you get the password,
I don't even get to put the password in.
Oh, really? So this is something I was pissed about my Outlook the other day, because it was like, do you want to sign in using a key? I'm like, no, I want to put my password in. And they were like, well, you can use your thumb. Because I've got one of the, I don't know if your Mac's got this, your laptop, but I've got like the fingerprint thing there. Yeah. So I've got the little fingerprint thing. So I'm like, I would rather use that. And it's like, no. You've got to put in a 4-digit. I'm like, what's the 4-digit code? I don't know. And I'm like, can I just put my password in? No, you can use your finger thing.
There seems to be a thing. There seems to be a thing now where instead of passwords almost on any platform where you haven't like logged in before on that thing or somewhere else, whatever, right? They seem to want you to skip the password. They just go like they're like, oh, we're doing two-factor authentication. Why are we even asking for a password? Let's just send them the email and then they can open it from there. I'm like, no, I have a password for a reason. I'd like to log in with the password. Thank you. The fact you do, I mean, obviously, if you have to, just in case anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, Chris is having. I was meant to do the thumbnail yesterday, and I went to log in, and I couldn't. And it said this happened with something else as well the other day. Me and him are sharing things now. It's kind of cute.
And by me and him sharing things, he means I'm sharing things with him.
Basically, yes. I went to log in. I couldn't log in on the thing because it asked for a passcode, and I didn't realize he responded. And I went and cooked dinner and came back about probably like 9:30, 10, and dude probably he was gone. That's why there was no thumbnail, if anyone was wondering, because I was meant to do exactly what you did. That's exactly what I wanted to do. But I also just realized we put the title and the thumbnail. We both have fucking out the haters. But,
you know what?
Whatever.
It is what it was. It was a bit of a rush this morning to get back and do what I needed to do to get it right. But it's all good. It's fine.
But yes, I did appreciate the masterpiece because that's exactly what I wanted to do. I was going to do it when we got here.
Oh, yeah. I'd already smashed it out this morning.
People that have seen the thumbnail, please tell me you know where it's from. People in here,
I believe Jack liked it. I'd assume Jack is the type of person that knows exactly where it's from.
100% know what it is.
Yeah.
I want to see if anyone who knows. Do we know what the thumbnail's from? Or we too? I'm not going to fire any shots.
I was going to say, don't say anything. We're not allowed to. For God's sake.
I see 4 of you: Tash, Coco, Nikki, Kaylee, and Marco. Do we know where the thumbnail is from? Surely. I mean, also, I'm going to sit here and wait for them to respond. But,
I was going to say, this is the problem. When you ask a question,
Jack responded straight away.
I knew Jack would know. Jack is the type of guy that's going to know.
You don't get to know these things.
No, I did. Nikki, come on. Oh, can you bring it up? The picture of the guy. Can you bring it up?
Blocking out the haters, go.
Yeah. Tasha doesn't know either. I knew Tasha wouldn't know. She's not a meme expert, unfortunately. I know Jack would know his memes. Blocking out the haters.
Yes. Entire screen. I haven't done it on here in ages. Jesus.
No, I was gonna say I don't. I was gonna do it myself, but I don't know how to share screen on here.
Hold on, I can't.
I know, right, Jack? Bloody millennials.
I can't do it.
You can't?
No. Because I need to do it in my systems. Because I haven't done it on this laptop before. It's asking me for permission and shit, and then it's just
wait there. Can I?
So deny. Your turn. You can just type in blocking other haters. Coco doesn't know either. That wasn't the what? Divine Days. Yes.
Share screen. Boom.
Just a quick intro.
Can you see it?
Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. I was too busy blocking out the haters. Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't see.
Can you hear that as well? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was too busy blocking out the haters.
So good. Does that stop sharing screen now? Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
It's so funny. Oh, that's got to be what, like 10 years old now?
I have no
Vine
idea.
Vine is so old.
The predecessor.
Oh,
I just realized we're in the wrong format as well. Boom.
Oh,
no. Boom. No. Boom. Yeah. No.
No, that's massive.
What's happening?
What have you done?
What's going on? I think I prefer this. Do I prefer this? I might just leave it as this thing because I don't know what's happening.
I don't know what you've done to it. That's way too big. Nobody sees.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
Yeah, there we are.
Welcome. Welcome to Work in Progress podcast. How's it going, everyone? How's it going?
Everybody's well. It's been a really interesting week. I'm going to touch on it real quick, but I've been uploading videos every single day for 6. This is day 7 on YouTube, and it is. I swear to God, right? I purposely picked the easiest format and the easiest video to make, right? Which is I'm just doing what I would normally do, except it takes maybe.
I mean, you're not, because you're standing there like this. You're like.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's not what I would normally do. But so I've picked the easiest format that I possibly can for the process, right? So that it takes maybe half an hour extra to do that. And then it takes an hour or so to edit the video because I've got to add all the pictures in for the solds and all this sort of jazz, right? And I swear to God, I know I'm doing it every day and not all of the YouTubers do it every day, but I've got a new appreciation for people that do YouTube and resell it, especially I would say people like Simon that have come from running the business and then into YouTube. And because obviously a lot of these people started on YouTube making the videos alongside it and they did it kind of like gradually together. So they've had way more experience and they've learned it together. But like people like Simon that have started a little bit later and built the business first and then start.
Sorry, question. Just whilst it comes to my mind, have you put any thought into what you're wearing each day because you're going to film the video?
So I have been more conscious about wearing the same jacket every day because, right. So in my head, yeah, I'm like, this is like a jacket is like a staple, right? Like most people have got 1, maybe 2 jackets, right? So they'll have like maybe a warm jacket and maybe like a windproof jacket. But obviously on YouTube, I'm recording every single day. So if it's just a week of me wearing the same jacket, it might look kind of odd. So I've been switching from hoodies to gilets to jackets and to be fair, when I wore the jacket the first time, my new childish one that I've been after for ages, the lime green one, it was piercing down with rain that day. So that was why I picked that one. And then the second time I was like, I put it in rotation enough, like, because I don't want to wear it every day.
I think it's very obvious you're wearing it as well. Like, it's not exactly a quiet
thing in the world, but it's an incredible jacket. It's very good.
Anyway, sorry, yes. New appreciation for people who...
Yeah, I've just got a new appreciation for people that do it, man. I said it in the last video that towards the end is that it's very difficult to... And it's, to be honest with you, it's not even the recording. I know Luke's just messaging there now, but I watched one of his pick and packs, and he was the inspiration for the same style because it was, although he goes into his unit and he picks an order and then talks about the item, I pick all the orders and then talk through the items and then give a little bit of context and a little bit of information around it. And he was the inspiration for that because I prefer that style. Because if I'd have come onto the video and gone, hi, this is the Hara top. It's pink. It's big size. It's new label. It's off for 30 quid. And then move on to the next one. I don't think you're adding enough value to that. Whereas if you go, this is what you're looking for. And that's kind of where that is. But the editing side of it, and also I fucking despise making thumbnails, which is perfect for this because we just use the same thumbnail and then
this is what I said.
So good.
I couldn't fathom turning up every day to be a YouTuber, and especially trying to come up with it. Because if you want to really take being a YouTuber serious, this is me just talking out my ass, by the way. So you can take it how you will. you have to like, if you really want to push it and like do well, you have to do stuff that's like entertaining all the time, and you have to like, if obviously you're banging out the same format over and over again, realistically that's like, if I'm just being straight, it's going to get old, right? Like, it's not, if you just do that like again and again and again, like it's not going to massively grow your audience. You'll kind of stay with the same people that, again, people like that stuff. And I used to skip to parts in videos where people were telling me about what they'd buy because that's what I was interested in, in terms of how much it sells for and that sort of stuff. But to be a really, really good YouTuber, you need to do stuff that like is interesting and attracts attention and has creative concepts and brings people in. And then also you need to think about the title every time and how the thumbnail is going to look, because the thumbnail is super important and all this stuff. Like
doing a title every day and trying to think of a new way of doing it without it being similar to the last.
Especially when you're doing the same thing.
I'm 7 days in and it's tough, right? But what I will say, and this is not me like being big-headed or bragging, but I don't personally think from a daily, like doing daily videos, I don't think there's too many people on YouTube, or at least not in my sphere. So if anybody else is, then I'm sorry that I don't know who it is. But like, there's not too many people, in my opinion, that are doing £600 plus a day in sales that are doing that video, right? So in my head, I'm already like that. In my head, that's a good draw straight away. You've got somebody who's done 6 days in a row, and we've done more than £600 in sales every single day. Right. So in my head, that's a good draw straight away, because there isn't a huge amount of people that are on YouTube that are currently doing that volume and that value that I can think of, at least, or anyone that I know. So in my head, that's a good enough draw. And then you've got to deliver the information.
Well, I guess Rummage is banging it out, isn't he?
And
he also does Vlogmas as well. So he'll
I couldn't do a full-on vlog. Like I'm already capped out if I was doing this daily. And the reason I started the daily videos is because inside of the reseller group, we've got a social media call, and I run it and I try and talk about it, but I wanted to educate myself more. So I devised a plan to do 30 days of video, which is mental, by the way.
No, sorry. I just I devised a plan. Like you've got something.
I did devise the plan was to try and garner as much information as I possibly can over the next 30 days. And then in terms of the call, it would give us more to talk about, and we can look at all of the metrics. We can look at thumbnails, we can look at titles, we can look at where the views are compared to each, right? Like, and really break down YouTube analytics and stuff like that. And then obviously we've got more people involved. So Kaylee, for instance, is doing her one story reel, whatever it was, a day to become more confident in front of camera and on the Instagram stories and stuff like that. Then we've got Emily who's posting content. Then we've got Shelley who's posting content. Then we've got Joe who's posting content. And the idea is to get these people. By the way, but just so everybody knows, there is a secret challenge inside of this that nobody knows. I haven't even told Tasha, but there's a secret challenge inside of this that nobody knows about, and we're going to get into it at the end. And I'm going to talk about it quite heavily. But nobody knows what it is yet. But the idea was to get more people more interested in doing more things and learning more about the platforms. And that can go from social media side into the reselling world more generically, by learning the platform on eBay, learning the platform on Vinted, and really honing your knowledge on each platform and each availability to do what you're doing. So, but it's tough. That's what I'm going to say.
I was talking to Jamie about this at the seller party or whatever. Luke was there and saying Luke's dived in and like learned loads and loads of stuff as well. Like, because him and his podcast popping off, I think, and obviously he puts out pumping out videos as well. But I think he was saying that he'd gone out of his way to learn loads. And Jamie was saying like it's hard to do both. Like it literally really is. Like what it will swing up and down. This is what I've heard from pretty much anyone who does YouTube like reasonably seriously, is like you'll focus on one and it will swing, and then you'll focus on the other and it will swing, and like it's so hard to really, really do both at a super, super high level at the same time, because it's just a lot.
Yeah, this is when I remember speaking to Simon at the eBay Open last year. And I was chatting to him about how he was finding the YouTube thing. And ultimately, in my head, because for him, business is like the main thing. Like, as far as I'm aware from the last time we spoke, right, his business was the main thing, and the YouTube was like an extra piece, right? So in my head, it was always do the YouTube, but cover the things that you would ordinarily do. That might slow down the time of doing it, but it wouldn't like you're not doing a video specifically for YouTube, and then that way it doesn't impact the business as much.
I don't think that's like, again, that is doing it, but like to doing what Jamie and like George Russell and Ricky is doing,
that's a completely different.
It's like a whole different thing. Like it just is.
But I would argue that they are way more across. In my head, they're way more like pushing towards the entertainment side.
Yeah, but I think that's what you need to do, especially in the reselling space, because I feel like it's quite small, like realistically. If you're talking straight reselling,
niche-wise, like if you're looking at size and numbers, 100%.
There's a difference between what you're doing, which will probably only really appeal to like the resellers a lot of the time, versus what they're doing, which is like a car boot or like an idea or a prompt, something like that, that's like entertaining in itself, that people like to go to car boots and like to watch and like to like live through that experience or whatever. So I think it's very, very different, and like it's a whole different audience.
And what you know what's really interesting, just to touch on it for the final segment, is this style of video is the one that I don't watch. So I've never watched these like pick and pack videos. I watch most of Simon videos, but when he does like a straight up pick and pack, I'm not as interested. I like the source inside of it. So I'm the normie when it comes to like YouTube. I love watching car boot videos. Like I like the thrill of the hunt. So for me, it's like if I get to watch somebody else go, like watching Ricky walk around a car boot and just randomly picking up bits and pieces, that's way more entertaining and interesting to me than what somebody sold. But that I don't know whether I don't know how that makes sense to me, because I should be the one that's trying to learn more, if that makes sense.
But yeah, I think it really depends who you are. And again, I probably went like through the phase of it, but it's difficult, and it's especially I think YouTube itself is obviously the hardest like format, realistically speaking, especially like in terms of the time it takes up, probably is like way more. Obviously you can put like, depends how much planning you're putting into everything, all things like that. But like realistically, if you're want to make a really good whole YouTube video, it's going to take longer than making a reel. So
this is also something I was going to touch on in the next social media call, but I'll touch on it very briefly now, which is I've accumulated in 6 days 1,000 views, right, over across a thing. And obviously I'm not a big name, I'm not a big like YouTube person or whatever. Like it's just me throwing out some bits and pieces, and 1,000 views. Kaylee's done 4 or 5 reels now, and each one of those reels is 1,000 views. So like
they're very different
there. And I know that people scroll through reels, and maybe a view is caught when it's not necessarily being watched. But then the same thing happens on YouTube, right? You've got a 10-minute video, and it'll show you your average watch time is like 2-3 minutes, or whatever it ends up being, like 5 minutes or whatever. So the same thing happens. So it's crazy to me, the disparity in views, and it's broadened my horizon to thinking that YouTube isn't the be all and end all when it comes to if you want to get mass views on promotion and stuff like that.
It's very different, isn't it? And Katie's banging it as well, right? Like I think her reels are like good at like really good as well. But it's
the latest one, by the way, with the little talking about Disturbia. That was I genuinely thought that was a really good reel. I was like, it's informative, it's interesting, and it gives somebody some knowledge that they may or may not have had prior, and you can just I think it's really good.
Well,
right, now that's the waffle out the way. Let's talk about what's actually meant to be talked about today.
I mean, I'll save my waffle. So this, I actually thought it was such an interesting topic. Chris basically threw at me, is like, every week we panic for a podcast topic. Obviously we've got a bit more chatting. We kind of need, we really talk about like, what do we need? We need something for like the main thumbnail and title, right? But realistically, as you may have expected from being here regularly, we chat about all sorts. I think we've kind of moved away from like the whole topic on one thing. This one he threw at me as like, can we talk about what do you think about perception of resellers, like a perception of what we do? I was like, that's a sick idea, because I think it's super, super interesting. And by that, obviously, we mean like all sorts, like not just, but my first thought when you said that, by the way, was like a public perception. Like, it's like, what does the world think of resellers, you know?
I can give you the reason why I've been thinking about it quite a lot. And some of it stems from the conversations within the group, which is about talking to charity shop managers and trying to garner relationships, right? And a lot of people don't do it through fear that they will be judged by the manager, right? Or that manager has a preconceived idea about you, right? And the other side of it is from Ricky and Kev and some of the people on Instagram that will post little comments or like screenshot their comments on YouTube videos, which is like, oh, you're the scum of the earth, you're tax dodging, you're doing all this. And then there's other people going, oh, you know it's going to sell for 70 and she wanted £10 and you offered her 5 and you're a disgrace, like you're robbing people. And I genuinely thought it would be a really interesting topic to go over as many different avenues of people that we think might have a perception about what we do. And then sort of have an intro, and then see if anybody in the chat has got like a, because I am yet personally, like I may have had like 1 or 2 that I've forgotten, but I am yet to have like a really negative experience, like when it comes to talking to people about what I do. I don't think I've had a super negative experience. I might have had 1 or 2, but I don't remember them. So if I don't remember them, ultimately that's like realistic. That's a great thing, right?
I'm trying to think about like what. I mean, I don't think I've had a truly negative experience, but you definitely get the vibe from some people that they don't like it. But yeah, I think it'd be really interesting for anyone in here, like in any form, like be it talking to friends and family, be it talking to other people that do run businesses, be it interacting with people at the car booths and stuff. That's actually probably the biggest place, actually thinking about it, is the vendors at the car booths don't like resellers quite often. And some of them want like it to go to a good home as such. And that's a big thing. But where do you want to start? Do you want to start broad, or do you want to start niche and kind of work out like which way around do you want to do it?
I think we go broad first, and then we can niche it down as we go. I think
like public perception.
So I think a lot of it is obviously what I said about the videos, right? Like, in somebody watching like a reseller car boot video, is that people think that we're trying to scam people. We're taking advantage of people not understanding the value.
I actually say that's reason like the person that watches. Okay. Like I'm talking. Like, if you're told the random person that this like someone's a reseller, what does the average person think about like the job, like, or the person doing the job?
So I can talk briefly about my very own experience on this. Actually, is that me and Tasha do it together. And one of the things that I think is a common perception is that we don't do a huge amount and we're always available. So like when we first started, it was very much like, oh, could you do this? Could you do that? They're not at work. Like, can you cover me here, or can you go and do this? And it's a perception. Now they understand, because I drill it into everybody's head how busy we are as resellers. But at first it was very much like, oh, you could cover me here, or you could look after her, or you could do this, or you could look after him. Or
I think that's just whenever you first start working for yourself, though, or how, like, I think we discussed this in the group the other week as well, that like the perception when you work for yourself and like the boundaries you have, like compared to an actual job, completely transform into something that's like, oh, you now work for yourself, so you're flexible, you can do whatever. Like I can call you at, like, for example, one of my friends, I have no problem with this, by the way, but he'll call me kind of whenever, like, because I work for myself, so he kind of calls me whenever.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll answer because I'm free, and sometimes I'll answer because I'm not, right? But if I worked 9 to 5, there is zero chance he would ever call me. Like, zero. There's just like, he'd be like, oh, Ben, he's gonna be at work. Like, I'm not gonna call him. Whereas because you kind of at work from home or whatever, you're suddenly expected to answer calls or be free whenever kind of people want to speak to you. But I'd even say
the biggest perception, I think, is that people don't. So we actually talked about, again, I keep referring to the group. Apologies.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
we talk about a lot of stuff in there, right? And one of the conversations was, do you consider it a business or a job or like just a side hustle, right? And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions, maybe, is that it's not a job. It's just you're sort of faffing around. You're buying and selling a few bits and pieces, and some people don't understand the level in which you can get it to, so they undermine it a little bit, maybe, or at least.
What's funny actually is when I was talking to ChatGPT yesterday, because I've been trying to set up a load of this stuff, right? I asked him to. I asked to get him to make sure he knew everything he needed to know about my business. I say he, she, it. Whatever it needed to learn about my business. I was like, ask me all the questions. And instantly, when I told it I can run a reselling business where I sell on eBay, blah, 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 it assumes I work from home. Like, and like, it assumes that like, that's the scale of my business is like, obviously there's massive, really big business. If you've got a big garage or whatever, fantastic. And you, or for example, some people have units in their back garden, which is cool. But like, it assumed I work from like the casual home basis of like, oh, like, how many, like, what sort of space do you use in your house and stuff like this? So I was like, no,
same
unit. But I think you're 100% right, and I think Nikki said there, most people don't think it's a viable business. So that Harry's saying he's only had positive experience, right? And it's not like you have negative experiences, but I think the difference when you say, hey, I'm a reseller versus like, hey, I'm a doctor. That's obviously it's a crazy comparison, to be fair.
That one's a little wild, but we'll let you roll with it for a second.
Even if you say you own a certain type of business, like even if you say, so you're a reseller, but the difference, say you own a clothing brand, right? Yeah, I run a clothing brand. People would instantly like are more interested and kind of, I feel like more. There's some people that are really interested, by the way, like in reselling. Like if you tell them you're a reseller, they want to know all the background and kind of how it all works. And I think because people are interested in doing it for themselves quite a lot, like people are interested kind of how it works and if it's viable for them. And the question you get, like this is one of the biggest questions on Nikki's thing that I get in charity shops is, oh, do you make a full-time living from that?
Oh, and by the way, just so you know, if you turn around to them and say, yeah, it's me and my wife, we both do it full time and we've got a part-time employee, it blows their fucking minds. They're like, what the, how is this even a thing? Especially at charity shops, because sometimes they struggle to sell things. Like if they've got a barber coat for like 25, 30 quid, and they're in their head, they're like, oh, that's been there for like 4 months, 2 months, whatever. And this guy's coming in and buying things and then selling it, and then he's making a full-time money. They can't seem to fathom it.
Which is interesting, right? Because surely they'd look at their store, like their charity shop, and be like, hey, we're making this much money. If one person was doing this in a different format, like surely they can make it. Like we've got the difference between the physical space where they've only got the market that comes in that shop. Yeah. We've got obviously the world, realistically speaking. But I think Katie's 100% right. Like this is what I think actually, in terms of the public opinion, I feel like resellers are given such, like, because of the scalpers and like the scammers.
I think the Pokemon card guys have ruined it for all resellers.
Yeah, like, even before that, we're talking the PlayStation people, the shoe people, like the people that just would buy the toilet paper sellers in COVID. Like we're talking all the people that just buy up everyone's resource and then like sell it back to them because they've got it all. Like that.
But this is the thing, right? This is the bit that annoys me, because a lot of this like obviously this is the naivety of like the major public, but they'll be like, oh, these resellers are ruining this or they're ruining that. But then they'll nip to Tesco's and go and buy the milk. And like Tesco's is just another version of what we do. Everywhere, whatever you buy in this world.
But the difference is with the scalper type people is Tesco's is like everyone can access Tesco. Like what Tesco do is deal with everything behind the scenes to give you access to the thing, realistically, unless you want to go to a farm shop, or they make it super convenient. They deliver that service. But what scalpers do is they take what is available to everyone and should be accessible to everyone, and they steal it. Like they like destroy that. And that's the difference between Tesco. Tesco offer you and supply you with convenience for what you want to get. Scalpers make your life harder. Make your life shitter. They'll take the stuff that you wanted to get and that was accessible and at retail price and fair, and they'll take it all and just to make it like profit from your like inability to get it, if that makes sense. And I'd say we actually function more like a Tesco, where we source the item that someone else in the world would want to kind of deliver that convenience. Like we offer a service of finding items that people will want and putting them in a place where they can buy them from their convenience. which I think is different. I think this is probably also why the people in the that look view us at car boots and stuff or charity shops, like maybe they view it as scammers or in the same light as maybe a scalper or something, because like, oh, someone could have come in the charity shop and bought that item, but it's not like you're taking the whole shop. You're not buying the whole shop. Like no. Yeah, like one item or two items there, but it's like it's such a different thing in my opinion.
I think sometimes what you've got to entertain the idea of that is like, say for instance, like let's just look at the Oasis tickets, right? Like, yeah. I know there will be scalpers that go in and buy them, but let's be honest, those scalpers are providing tickets, yes, at an inflated rate, but they're providing tickets for people that might not have been able to get them in the first place. So they are doing a service, obviously, for their own profits.
Yeah, but to do that,
they're contributing to the difficulty the person gets the ticket, right? So they're contributing to the difficulty of it. But then some of those people might not be able to get the ticket in the first place because it might just have sold out too quickly, or they haven't got time to go and do it, but might have more money than the other person, so they can just go and spend more money on the ticket, right? So they are providing kind of a service. I know they're making
not because they're taking it, like, especially in that situation, they are snatching it. Like, it's like that would literally be like if someone had it in the charity shop and was queuing at the till and you stole it and were like, mine now. That would be fucking crazy. Like,
but do we think that we're given the perception now of true scalpers? Like, is our perception now that scalpers are bad, or do you? Because I am perfectly happy with people scalping. Like, I don't care. So are we now going to be like, oh, the perception of scalpers is wrong? And George is saying the same thing here. We're snatching items off of Vinted. Well, at least I am, because obviously I buy a lot of my stock on Vinted. Well, 90% of my stock on Vinted. So am I now scalping because I'm taking stuff from Vinted and then putting it on my store? Is that a form of scalping? Because the Pokemon card guys, by the way, are making a killing.
Well, again, it's like a different market in my head, right? Because again, buying the stuff that's super works, like there'll still be reasonable priced items that you don't buy. You're not taking the whole source of something and like destroying the whole market, right? Like, or taking like what Pokemon card sellers have done is like they've got up early and they did like the whole market's kind of fucked. You can't unless you are there queuing.
The Pokemon market, by the way, is not a retail market anymore. It's a reseller market. Like the retail market, you might as well just ignore now when you see the prices. Oh, this is £100 box. It's not. It's £150 box now, because the likelihood of you being like, I tried to get.
That's what I mean.
So when I was doing, I did this 25th celebration stuff, and it was so hard to find anything at retail. If I wanted anything, I had to pay more a lot of the time. And so the market's completely changed now. It's like a false market.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. I feel like there probably is some hypocrisy, like in this, like realistically speaking, probably especially from the stance I'm coming from. But I think unless you really destroy the supply of something, like the people on Vinted, like yes, you probably are taking the cheap items that they can get, like the deals, but that's interesting because it's kind of a more competitive, but they're shopping for themselves in a way. Like, you're not, there's probably reasonable price items, and unless you're pricing it completely unreasonably, and again, taking over the whole market, you're still going to price it at a price that is the general going rate for whatever that item is. Yes, you stole, probably you could say you scalped the deal, but still you're not controlling and destroying a market based on scalping the deal. Because even like
we're not inflating the prices on the natural price. We're just picking up at the cheaper price and then moving it to the natural price. We're not buying it at the natural price and then moving it beyond that.
Yeah, so and I would also wouldn't have a problem, because that's kind of when you get into like if you want to put the effort into get those deals, then it's a bit different. I don't know that, because that then gets into the whole, like, if you're looking at wholesalers and stuff, right? Like, are wholesalers scalping deals from Pakistan? No, then they're not really. They're putting in the effort to like snag the better price because they've set stuff up. Then they're delivering it to you. So I don't know. Scalping the deal, the Vinted's an interesting technical one. I don't know. You could 100% view it as that. But I don't think, again, I think scalping requires you ruining and taking the supply from someone else. Like, I think in my head, that's how I view it. Like with shoes, with tickets, with cards, like, you are deliberately doing it and knowing that you're going to take and ruin something for someone else in a weird way.
So in my head, right, with scalpers, the logic I have is scalpers are people that will buy stuff at retail that is at a limited capacity and then increase the retail price. And obviously we're buying stuff that's cheaper and then putting it to the average price a lot of the time. Some of us may overprice our items, but in general, we're doing that. So in my head, a scalper is somebody that buys something new and sells it for more than it originally sold for. But again, I think you could, there is a safe argument to say that we are also doing a very similar thing as well.
Yeah, there probably is. We're probably part scalper. Where everyone's got probably a bit of scalper in them. But
absolutely.
I probably just view scalpers like very specifically in that sense. But we probably are all kind of scalpers in a roundabout way. But again, I feel like, I don't know, when I look at buying on Vinted, this is probably why there is a moral gray area with like a proper, like a buy bot, right? Where if you set it up to buy automatically, then you really are removing any chance for someone. And there's like a more moral questionability in that. But in terms of just buying straight up on Vinted and picking out the ones you want and buying them quickly, then I don't think that's got the same moral question to it, right? You are just doing that. And I think that's kind of where scalping comes in, and that viewpoint comes in, is the moral. That's the problem with reselling, like the moral questioning of what it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
But I think that's different. Like, to me, again, like a deal is hard to find. I just read the top part of the hard to find is a good shout from George. Like hard to find, whereas something that is easy and obvious and like should be for everyone, it is where scalping comes in, and they ruin the opportunity like for the access to the normal people and everyone. And I think that's kind of the difference there. And I can't bring that all back around, right?
I was going to say that was a bit of a tangent, but
that's why I think generally, if people know that side of reselling and like the morally questionable scalping side, like ruining, the PlayStation market or whatever, so that people can't get PlayStations for their children for Christmas at the price that they should be, like that's crazy. Like I think that is a very different thing. And if people know that side, then when you say the word reseller, that's where I think they go to.
So I'm going to ask you now, and I'll ask everybody in the chat now. If somebody asks you what you do, are you going to say reseller, or are you going to say that? Because my thought was like, oh, I buy and sell clothing online, right? Like, but that's basically reselling. And I've been trying to work out the best way to say what we do without saying reseller, because I do think there is a negative connotation a lot of the time for people that don't understand it fully. So what do people say? Like, because in my head, I want to say like, I'm a used clothing seller. Like,
I always now, my go-to is pre-loved clothing business.
Pre-loved
clothing business. And that Katie and Harry were talking about this earlier. Like, I think once you change the vocabulary, then you go to a very different place. Even a buy and sell online, it also works. But I think pre-loved clothing business, if you want to, it also comes down to how you feel about yourself. Like, if, for example, if you're talking and you go back to like, if you feel like you're kind of doing it as a side hustle / hobby, you might not feel like saying, hey, I run this business. Because
George, I say I'm a scalper.
Then like if you're doing that, then you might not feel weirdly, you might not be able to identify with what you're saying, right? Like I feel like saying you run a business, you have to feel like that. Whereas if you're just kind of doing a side hustle, you don't really know what you're doing, you feel like you're doing it kind of here and there, is like, you probably wouldn't say that. You probably say, oh, I sell stuff online or something like that, right? But me, if you like, again, if you want to talk about, for example, when I've been talking to the personal stylists, I don't say I'm a reseller. I'm like, oh yeah, hey, I run a pre-loved clothing business.
Okay, well, follow-up question to this then is, what do you think? So, for instance, if we're talking to, let's just go and say that we are talking to a charity shop manager. Mm-hmm. If you say I'm a reseller and I buy and sell a bit of clothing, versus I am a pre-loved selling business, or whatever, like, however you
say it like that, yeah.
I run a pre-loved business. what do you think the perception is from that manager? Because there's two ways they can look at that, right? They can go, oh, he's a business, we don't want to sell to him and help him make more money than we're making, so there's a negative there. Or there's also the positive of like, oh, this guy will buy lots of clothing, we can maybe work a deal out, versus the, oh, I buy and sell a few bits and pieces online. They might not take you seriously, they might not understand the volume in which you can purchase. So like, which one do you think, or which way would you go?
I think in terms of the charity shop people, it obviously all of this is going to be person dependent. Firstly, like you could run into anyone, they could hate you, they could love you, depending on what you do, right? But I think in the charity shops, the response I think that is the most obvious, especially if they're not two things. One, it depends if they've met you a lot beforehand, right? But like before introducing what you do, or if you go the first time and you introduce yourself and what you do, then there's a lot. I feel like you're met with hesitancy. Like I feel like the most common thing I get met with is hesitancy, and people being like, I'm not sure like what to think about this. But you'll get two other people. One is someone who will get it straight away because they know people come in their shop to do exactly this. Yeah. Right? They come in their shop to do exactly this job. They're happy because they get the prices they want for it. There's a lot of opportunity for them to make money. Like, yeah, like you hear some of them go, yeah, I'm very happy with resellers, with resellers, because
is what they say a lot of the time.
Because you'll get they're spending money. Like again, the goal of the charity shop. This is kind of where some people's moral compass comes in. Is realistically the goal of the charity shop is to make money for a charity. I feel like especially nowadays, it's stemmed away from doing the other side of it, which I think was originally more charity shop intended, which was to give people that like in less fortunate positions opportunities to buy things at a better deal. Obviously, that's still what they do, but a lot of them, especially like in my area particularly, have moved much more towards making as much money as possible, whilst disregarding that side of things as much, being run more like a business and a boutique, and all the prices kind of like follow that way of thinking. But I think realistically, if they understand, especially the manager, they'll be like, my goal is to hit my targets and sell stuff and make business happen.
You don't think if that you call yourself a business that would give a negative connotation towards you from a manager's perspective? Do you think it would only be positive, like, oh, this guy's serious, we can work together? Or do you not think that they even care?
I think like I really again, I think it's super dependent on the person. I think you can get the people that are like, yeah, no, we don't want to just supply you with stuff. But I think realistically, most of them, I think surprisingly, with charity shop managers specifically, most of them actually are on board. Like most of them are like, oh, okay. I do think there's a difference between how you like people talking here about being like the solo versus the business. Yeah, I think people are more willing to help people that are like trying to help themselves. Yeah, in a roundabout way, like trying to support the local smaller person versus, oh, if you come in like, yeah, I want to partner with you. I work with all like 700 charity shops across the country. I've got a mega business. Then they're a bit like, it's not as like personal.
Also, by the way, as a great tip, if you're working with a new charity shop manager, even if you have never, always say to the person that you're trying to deal with and trying to garner some like relationship with, always tell them that you work with a charity shop in a town across like further down the road. Go, oh yeah, I work with the Salvation in, for me, like the next town over like 30 minutes away is like Oswestry. I would be like, yeah, I work with the Salvation Army manager in Oswestry. We have a great relationship, and throw that in there because it gives validity to you being able to, even if you don't, by the way, you can just say it because most of these managers don't know, but it's a great way because it gives a little bit of trust to them.
Yeah. Gives you right? Like, so this is what I was saying. If you go in and you say this and you run a bit, sometimes the assumption for if you don't explain it enough is that you are going to try and scam them out of money, right? Yeah. Like, is it you're going to want to pay, hey, I'm here to pay £2 for everything. Like, and that is the hesitancy I've had. Like, especially going to introduce someone to someone new and then straight away pitching like that. I'm like, hey, I work with some people like this, this is kind of my idea. This is what I do. What do you think? And they're like, and then once you pay for things, or like even if you could buy a few things before that, suddenly they're like, oh, I'm good. Like I understand, and they'll let you. There's a lot more room to wiggle with, and suddenly they open up a lot. But I think there can be a big hesitancy on that front. But if they're business people, they're good a lot of the time. Like they'll show up and they'll be like, nah, I get it. Especially the people that, what did Ella say? As long as you pay the price, I ask, I don't care. Like that is a very, very common thing.
Yeah.
Like, as long as we're both paying something we're happy for, not bothered.
And by the way, the longer that relationship continues, the more you can haggle a little bit as well, based on how long an item's there. I had a Salvation donation center up the road, and the manager there was like, you pay this, or you don't have it. And literally, after I'd spent like 15 grand in this shop in the first like 6 months of being open, like I could go in there and be like, oh, mate, how's it going? We'd have a little chat. I would go in there and I wouldn't buy anything, and I'd still talk to him for 20 minutes. And then you develop the relationship, and then eventually you go in and you go, oh, you've had this up for a little while. You've had it for 60. Would you do 40? Get it out your hair. And if he says no, but the ones that are it can be quite difficult with are the people that don't understand the concept of time and effort that goes into what we do. So when you have so this is another perception, but the perception can be that you are just going to take this item, you're going to take 2 photos, you're going to list it on eBay, it's going to be sold in a week, and you're going to get all the money, right? And they go, oh yeah, you could, we're selling it for 50, but it sells for 100 on eBay. And it's like, yes, okay, for some people that metric works, but like when you've taken the time to picture it, store it, potentially hold it for 2 months, to make after fees, free postage, all of it, they don't understand the business side of it, right? And that can be a difficult conversation to have. But again, some people, not even just charity shop managers, but like some people in general, are willing to learn and talk about it, and you can make them, like, you can give them the information, and they will start to understand. Because 50 100 is great for a lot of people, but it, like, outlaying £50 to get a return investment of like 15 to 20, like for some people isn't the metric that they want.
Again, another thing we discussed recently is like there is massive businesses that run on like very fine margins. And your perception on that is completely depends on how you view a deal to someone. Obviously, in this space, we're really lucky to be able to do like have very healthy margins, generally speaking. Like, for example, you get actually, again, this is a car boot one again, is oh, you can make money on this. Like, oh, you can make money on that. You know, like, no, it doesn't matter how much money you make on it.
It's like, I've had it before, right? They go, oh, it's 30, and you look at it and you give that kind of like face, and they go, oh, it sells for 50 on eBay. And it's like, yeah, well, that's great, but and I get it, because their job isn't to sell to a reseller, so they could just be sell. Because if I'm just a natural person, like an ordinary person that wants to buy that item, and they go, oh, it's 30, but it's 50 on eBay, that normal person might go, oh, I'm getting a deal here, if they want the item for personal use, right? Obviously, but I feel like there's a time and a place for that at car boots after like 9 o'clock, right? You can be more, because anybody that's at a car boot, in my head, at like 5:30 in the morning, it's dark and they've got head torches on, like, they're not buying shit for themselves.
Hey, there's some keen people out there. There's
people
that know that we're coming, so they want to get there before us to find maybe something for themselves.
I am not seeing anybody who's buying stuff for themselves unless they come across it randomly and they just want it. Like, nobody's buying anything for themselves at a car boot before 7 a.m. It just isn't a thing.
By the way, my favorite person at charity shops, obviously, you've got the people that don't want to work with you, and then the people that might be hesitant. Again, you really don't find people that I have never run into talking to all the charity shop people. Someone who's like, nah, fuck you.
I know you've had some hesitant people that didn't really understand it, but like, obviously, the more you go there, the more you spend money, the more you talk, they become more accustomed to you and what you're doing. So
yeah, there's no one like, oh, we don't like you in here. Like, there's never anything like that. Like, some, again, you get the ones that like, no, we can't do anything here. Like, there's nothing we can do here. Outside of that, I never had a problem. But the ones I like the most are, like Harris saying earlier, the people that take a real interest. Like, you tell someone you do this, and they're like, whoa. Like you said, the kind of mind blown, kind of like, whoa, how does that work? And then you kind of introduce them to the idea of everything. and suddenly they're like, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. And going back quickly, actually, to talking to your, like, for example, public perception or your friends and family. Some of this, I find it's either, again, one or two ways. They're like, oh yeah, that's cool, or it's like, really, like, how does that work? And you know what's really interesting? If you talk to some other business people, they often likely take a much bigger interest, because if you actually pitch it as a business, they're very interested into how that actually works. Versus,
and your margins as well a lot of the time, because a lot of businesses, like we said, run on way less margins than we currently do.
But yeah, I think my charity shop managers are fine. I think the public perception is kind of like slightly tilted if you just hear the word. And again, I feel like, again, the other thing that comes with it is not taken as seriously.
Especially when you see the comments from people going, oh yeah, you're tax dodging shit house, or like, you know, I've seen it on YouTube where they're like, oh, I hope you're paying taxes, or you're robbing them. So this is an interesting concept, especially when it comes to the, I mean, a lot of those are on the videos regarding charity car boots, sorry. But like at charity shops, like a lot of charity shop managers say, if we price something and you pay that, we're happy, right? But they could price an item for £6 and we could sell it for 200. Are those people that are saying that we're robbing people at car boots saying the same thing at the charity shop? Because we can only pay what they want for it, right? Like, I mean, we could offer them more, but we're not going to do that because that's silly. But like at a car boot, for instance, if somebody says, oh, it's a tenner, and you go, oh, would you take 6? But you know it's going to sell for 100.
I have done that, by the way. Do you know what's funny? So on that, I have offered them more. Like, I've actually gone back the week after and paid someone, especially, that's normally off the, well, two things. It's off the back of me getting it wrong in the first place. So for example, like with the charity shops and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, I'll give a third of what I can get for it. If I get that drastically wrong, like my original appraisal, for example, I did it was like a M&M dress at some point. Like I paid less, and then when I went to actually price it, it was like a pretty good one, and it sold within like a couple of days. And I went back and I was like, oh, actually, here's it. I'll pay you an extra 10 this week because I messed that up last week. And that builds very good trust as well. But if it's something like, if they don't know, or they're again, it's someone I know very well, if they're way off and I can afford to pay more, like, and they're like really way off, then I'll give them a hint. Like I'll be like, no, I can do more than that, or let me give you this, because I think it's like, I think it's slightly different with car boot people, because they're like, you have no back and forth with them, like you don't have a relationship, and it's not gonna, it's not gonna. Again, they're just trying to clear stuff. In my head, car boot people are trying to clear stuff, and it's not as much about obviously if you can get some money back for it. But I just don't think the same way when I don't know someone. But again, if they're happy with it, then fantastic. It'd be really interesting, right? If as resellers, none of us ever underpriced anything because someone that came along and didn't buy our item, instead they told us, hey, you should up the price on this, which would be crazy. Like, would you expect everyone to come in and tell us that we're pricing stuff under? Probably not. Like, I think that'd be a very strange thing to see. But I think there is a place for some bit of that, to be fair. But nothing. It depends what it is. I get the perception. Like, I get it.
Yeah. Like I get it from the car boot side of things, right? Like, if you know it's going to. So a lot of the time, there's a few well-known people that they say they don't haggle, right? And they would just, like, if it works in their metrics, they'll buy it, right? Like, it's irrelevant. But for me, I believe that everybody that's selling at a car boot is willing to haggle because they're at a car boot. If they weren't willing to haggle, they would go and put it on eBay, or they would go and put it on Facebook Marketplace, or they would go and put it on Vinted. Like, that's my perception. So I've probably got a wrong perception there. But then when it comes to, like, people saying, like, a lot of the time I don't haggle, by the way. Like, but every now and then I'll needlessly haggle for my own enjoyment, if that makes sense. But like, I sometimes will find, if I've got so like, I won't haggle, right? So for instance, someone goes, it's a £5 and I'm going to sell it for 30. I won't haggle. But if they want a tenner and it's going to sell for 100, sometimes I find enjoyment in trying to get that item as possible. And that, I don't know whether that's it. That's
no, you deserve the hate.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like a stupid, like, horrible ego thing where I'm like, I'm going to try and get this item cheaper because I know it's going to sell for more. And I don't know whether I don't know whether that's just, I enjoy haggling as well. Like, I love it. Like, because
Yeah, but you can.
The best bit for me, right? I'm going to finish this. I'm going to finish this quickly. But the best bit for me is, when when the person knows you're going to buy it anyway, but they'll still accept the offer. So you go, how much is this? And they go 10, and you go, all right, cool, yeah. And you're looking at it, right? And they know you're going to buy it. And then you go, oh, would you do 8? And they go, nah, it's really 10. You go, cool, no worries, and you just pay them straight away. I love that because they know that you want the item. So I find that super enjoyable as well, because I know that they have got one over me because they know I'm going to buy it at 10, and I'm trying to be a douche and get it for 8.
I feel like that's like when you look at each other like, if I was going to get it, I was going to buy it. Like it's, but I when I was going to car boots, I used to haggle, and then when I when I didn't know more, I would then try and haggle because I felt I needed to be safe a lot of the time. Like I needed to have it like a price. I didn't want to spend too much on something I wasn't confident in. But the more I knew, and if I knew it worked, like I would only ever haggle if the price didn't work for me. Then I'd shoot it. It's like sending an offer on something, isn't it? Really, it's like if this doesn't work, then try. How about this? Like, does this work for you?
Yeah.
And
what I will say, by the way, just as a side note, I know everyone's calling me a villain here, but
I'm a hater. I'm hating as well.
But for me, car boots aren't where I get a vast. I get a lot of stock from car boots, right? And I get a lot of stuff from there. But I would say 90% of my stock is covered from the vintage side of things. So I go to car boots because I enjoy them and they're fun. And I've got it in my head. I've got to play little. I've said this before on one of my stories on Instagram. When you get to a car boot and you're half an hour later than everybody else, and everybody's already set up and everybody's already at the rows where people are like unloading there and then, so they're getting the freshest stock. In my head, I go, ego activated. I'm going through all the rows that everybody's been through, and I'm going to find shit to sell, and I'm going to make money. And like I play little games like that because in my head, car boots is where I have the majority of the fun. So I'll go to the rows where everybody's like 700 people have already been through it. I'm going to go and find the thing that everybody missed. And I do that. Like I play little games when I'm at car boots because number one, I feel like it keeps me mentally interested. And also like, I just at car boots, I am vibing. I love car boots so much. I'm just having the greatest fun.
I mean, it is a place to haggle and like get deals.
Mate.
It's funny. The example you gave is such a stupid one. Like,
it's fun.
You can haggle. There's plenty of things to haggle on. But like in that situation, that's one of the situations you don't need to. And this is why people get the comments, because of people like you.
It's fun. I actually, by the way, just as a side note, I get really irritated with people that don't haggle ever. And it annoys me. And there's no reason for, by the way, like it's a perception of things that I don't need to be annoyed by that. But I'm like, you're at a car boot, haggle, man. Because I feel like they're awkward. So they go, oh yeah, I'll pay it. And I'm like, nah, man. They're expecting it. Throw in a £4 less.
If you get people like proper car booters, they will throw you a higher price knowing you're probably going to offer them a lower price.
And also, you'll be the guy that I am. Like sometimes I get caught out by the guy going, nah, I'm not going to accept the offer because I know you're going to pay the original price I asked for. Mm-hmm. But what's the worst that's going to happen? They go, oh, I want a tenner for that. And you go, cool, I'll give you 6. And they're like, nah, it's 10. And you go, cool, saying there's 10. You're in the same position you were before you asked the question. Doesn't matter. Try and get it cheaper, man. We're running a business. We're not running a charity. We've got to get shit cheap. We've got to sell it for more. That's literally our business, is buy it for as cheap as possible, sell it for as much as possible. And you've also got to understand with the rise in fees and now like Vinted are pushing bumps, which is more expensive over like the spotlighting. You've got fees going up. You've got postage is inevitably going to start increasing. Like we have to be smarter. We have to be making more money. Or we have to be selling more. So ultimately, and this is one thing that I will say as well. A lot of people have questioned my my bot buying and stuff on Vinted, and I'm like, listen, haters gonna hate. I'm out here to make money. I'm not out here to be everybody's friend. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is what I think we need to be more like in the UK, especially. We need to be just more like fucking vocal about what we're doing. And in my head, I'm here to make money. And I'm running it as a business. Do you think Jeff Bezos gives a shit about anybody else other than his business? No.
Okay, so this is my problem. I view that so differently.
I know you do.
I'm not. I would like everyone to win. And this is a difference. I don't think to be successful in your business, like, don't get me wrong, I think a lot of I was listening to like Mark Zuckerberg talk about Mark Zuckerberg the other day, and he gets super annoyed that Apple exist and like Samsung, and that all his things that make money, like Instagram and Facebook and stuff, are used through other people's devices. Like, he doesn't control it all. He doesn't, even though Facebook is like Meta is one of the biggest companies in the whole world, he still gets angry that these other people are winning as well, and he doesn't own it all and not making more money from everything. And I'm like, so if, for example, you see him really hot on Meta glasses, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's his thing at the moment. He's like, if I can make Meta glasses where everyone uses Meta glasses instead of their phone, then suddenly I control everything. And then my business is going to make more money. Fuck everyone else. And all of them just fight for a monopoly on the market. Really, see, all they try and do is they buy out all their small competitors, anyone that's a threat, and they just like destroy them as such, or either take them into themselves and make more money, or destroy the little people. I say destroy because they buy them out, and whoever's getting bought out is happy to be bought out, right? Like, they're happy to make that money. But I would like to say that unless you're aiming for something like that, I'd like to say you can win with lots of people. Like, you can.
I mean, don't
have a good time.
I want everybody I know to do incredibly well. I'm everybody's biggest champion, like on the sideline. I'll woo them on, I'll shout at them, but I want to be better. Like, that's just the way that it is. I want to be better than everybody else. And I don't, this is one thing I will say, is I don't compare myself. I have stopped comparing myself to other people. I'm not looking at other people now going, they're doing better than me. I'm not looking at other people now going, they're shit, I'm way better than them. I'm not, but I want to be better than everybody, but I also want everybody to be better than themselves. Like, I'm a big cheerleader of everybody. I want everybody to succeed, but I'm going to be better.
I'm going down though. Like, I'm saying, like, in terms of who you do business with, right? So, for example, in that situation, I'm competitive. I want to do well, right? And obviously, I don't want anyone else to do badly. Like, I'm happy for everyone to do well, but I do want to do, like, I am competitive. Like, that is the end all be all of it. But in terms of who you're doing business with, if you'll do better business as a long term if you've got something that, this is what the difference is. If you've got something that works for you and works for your business and is very healthy regardless. Obviously, I'm not saying like you want to get to a point where your business is very healthy, but I don't think you need to push to squeeze more out when you can make it all work.
But my counter to that is, I don't squeeze more out when it's a consistent thing that I'm going to do. But if it's a one-off purchase from a casual at a car boot that I'm never going to see again, I'm squeezing. But if it's somebody like, I've got the trainer lady, right, and the coat lady that I dealt with, I have overpaid on numerous amounts of coats and trainers that I wouldn't normally, and I build that relationship, and that's a consistent, and I know that I can go back there and I can get less, I can pay more, I can do all of these sorts of things. But if it's a one-off purchase of somebody at a car boot that I'm never going to see again, they're just clearing out their stuff, they've got a camera that sells for 200 quid and they want 20 quid, I'm offering them 10. If they say no, I'll play it for 20.
Oh, why?
Because why not? It's fun.
Because it works either way.
Yes, I know, but it's fun, Benji. Why would I not want to get a £300 camera for £10?
You would, because you also, there's no need to take more from them. Maybe I'm the commenter.
If they are selling a £300 camera for £20, they don't give a shit about that item anyway. So if I offer them 10 and they say no, I'll go, cool, get 15. And if they say yes, great. If they say no, it's got to be 20, I'll go, cool, here's the 20. No skin off my nose. It's the same. It's the exact same. I'm in the exact same position before I ask the question.
Again,
why not have fun with it as well?
It's hard because I also think of in terms of like business. I think the problem with car boots, right, is it's like to me, and I think this is probably the same with the people with the comments, right? Is car boots like more personal, right? In terms of, I actually am more happy to squeeze a business who is happy to do business at a better rate than I am an individual, because they're people like that. It doesn't matter. Whereas if you go through, I was thinking, if you like think of wholesalers, right, who supply supermarkets or shops or whatever, then you're looking at stuff where you can go to a wholesaler, hey, like, does this work for your business? I'm going to bring you this much money. That like they're going to be happy with whatever you works for them and for you. Whereas the car boot person is just going about their day, man. Like they're not there to like do crazy business or anything like that.
Exactly. So why does it matter?
Extra money, why not?
mate, the game's the game. You've got to have fun.
Yeah, it is the game. But you've
got to have fun, right? So 90% of my day isn't fun. I wake up, I do postage, I take photos.
Have the fun in it.
I'm talking about resale. I'm doing this, and this. If I get up and go to the car boot and go, I am going to crush today, I'm getting everything as cheap as possible. That's where I get my fun. And if I'm allowed fun 4 days a week for an hour in the morning, this is what I choose to do. I will
have fun on the things that you
paid in charity shops.
But why not have fun? Have fun on the stuff that makes sense.
Because who cares? It's fun. Do you know? Right. So this is the example I use. My local donation center, I have spent just shy of 50 grand in there since it's opened, and it's been open just over 2.5 years. Right, I am happy spending money. I will spend money. I've spent at this point, we've probably spent hundreds of thousands of pounds in charity shops, supporting this, doing that, doing all these things. And yes, we're making money out of it, blah, blah, blah. But I have spent, so let me go to a car boot and rip off some 90-year-old granny who's just clearing out a basement. Let me have fun.
That's not fun. Do the opposite. Flip it and reverse it. Leave the personal grandma alone. Just give her some money for her stuff. Be like, have some morality. Well, leave the poor woman alone.
Obviously, I'm being facetious. But my point is that I go to car boots to have fun and try and I use it as a little game for myself, because when I go to charity shops, I have to spend the money that they want, right? So when I go to car boots, I use that as my exercise to haggle. So I'm being facetious and jovial for the podcast, but I I will try and get stuff as cheap as possible, and it's fun. I don't go to the extremes. I've just gone for the crack there, but yeah, I go, mate, when we go to charity shops or even on Vinted, right? Like if you want an item on Vinted, 90% of the time you can't send the offer because somebody else is going to have a smaller margin than you, and they're just going to be able to buy it outright. So I don't get the opportunity to haggle a lot. So when I go to car boots, I take it to the extreme. And that's the way I have fun. And if everybody's mad at me for that, then everybody's mad at me for that. Cool.
You got a wow from Simon, which is quite scary.
I know. That's because of the old granny clearing out a basement.
Again, I mean, to be fair, I get it.
This probably doesn't help the perception of resellers online. So I apologize. I apologize for negatively impacting.
You have made this far worse. But I'd say the YouTube haters, if they're looking at you, are justified.
No, but I'm just having fun. But no, like I understand. By the way, none of this is planned. So Benji's losing his mind right now. He's like, they're gonna hate everybody.
I mean, I think it is fun to haggle. I completely agree, but just leave Doris alone. You know, Doris is just living her life. The traders are all down to. For example, like interesting. Again, it's super weird. I really think for me, it goes person to person.
Again, I've built relationships with people. Like, if I can see an opportunity to consistently buy from a person because they have stock that I want and they look like they're going to be able to get it again, I will spend all the money in the world with them. But like I said, that just one-off person at the car boot, I'm trying to haggle left, right, and center because that's the fun part.
I understand. It didn't talk about half the other people, to be fair, in terms of commenters and haters and.
What's a really interesting concept, and maybe we can brush on it another time.
Even within you, like it reseller to reseller is interesting.
So
as well.
my actual biggest conversation I wanted to have was the perception of buying from a reseller. If you know they're a reseller and you're just like a normie, like a normal public person, right? And you're buying from, because for instance, my YouTube, my eBay name is Lightwork Resells, right? So anybody that buys from me knows that I'm buying to resell. So they instantly know I'm getting it for cheaper than they're buying it for, obviously, right? But what's the perception of that? Because I know that Kev had an issue once where he accidentally left the charity shop label. It might have been in a pair of shoes or a jacket. I can't remember exactly what it was. But he left the price in which he paid for it inside of this item, and he sold it for like 10x, right? Like he did a really good job with his margin. And the person messaged with a picture of the charity shop label and said, "So how do you want to go about this?" and then ultimately left the negative feedback. Yeah, and they left the negative feedback about it. But obviously, eBay were pretty nice about it and got it removed. But yeah, I mean, so that perception of like knowing that somebody's bought, like if you knew that somebody had paid £7 for it, but you're buying it for 30 from like that's
again, if it's the market, it's the market. But this is something I'm interested worried, like buying personally from people. It's something I'm quite worried about actually, is like the idea of them this is something I'm always fearful of, like when you look at like Thrift Plus, for example, and people, or even a consignment store. But I guess the difference is you're watching them there. But I feel like when you buy from someone and they know you're going to make money from it, there's this weird like back and forth. And that's why I think I quite like defining how much of what I'm going to sell it for I can pay for it, because that they then know, hey, this is just how it works. Like like you're not in the situation, you're not trying to get more money out of them. You're not going to paying something that's completely unfair. So if they know, like if you give them how much of what you can sell for it, you'll pay, then they can decide if they're happy with that or not. And therefore it normally it's a better interaction. If they're not happy with that, fine. But if you kind of let them know that, it's something I am worried about though, generally, because I'm going to probably try and buy from more individuals. But I think that's just kind of like a expectation management sort of thing.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest things I think in our job, especially if you've got a contact, is them understanding how much effort goes into each like individual item that you buy. So say for instance you buy 100 items off them, right, and it's £10 a piece, and you're going to sell it for 40 or 50. They've got to understand like that it's not just a case of going home, taking one picture, and it's sold in a day. This is potentially a 90-day sell through. So we have to store that item. We have to pay for the storage. We have to pay for the shop subscription. We then have to pay fees. Then we do free postage. Like I think if they can have an understanding that, yes, I might be able to sell it for 50, but actually I'm only going to make 15 to £20 on this item, or maybe 25, then they might be a little bit more understanding.
That's why I think being a business comes in. Because I think that's the difference between being a hobby seller and business. When you say you're a business, people change their perception of how you have to run it. Like suddenly it actually works more like you're saying like, hey, I'm trying to make as much money as possible with my business. My business is trying to earn money here. I need to pay this to make this. Like I have, when you're a business, you know, you've got people to pay, you've got services, you've got tax, you've got all this sort of stuff. But when you're just a guy, you're like, oh, you're just going to pocket all this money. Like anything you make from this, you're pocketing it all. And there's nothing else that goes on. But when you're a business, like suddenly people start accounting for the fact businesses have other things going on that they need to pay for.
And I also think that they might relate a little bit more, because obviously a lot of like, if for instance, if you're working with a stylist, they have to pay tax, they have to do all these sorts of things. So they understand the concept in which the time and the effort and the extra cost and stuff. So it's probably a slightly easier conversation.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I have had fun in here. I'm expecting some DMs from some angry people. I'm expecting loads. But you know what, right? We're currently reading a book at the moment, and it's called The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And I'm trying to express this to the fullest by ultimately giving my opinion. And you don't have to agree with my opinion. And that's the way the world works. Opinions, everybody's got one. You don't have to agree. Have fun.
Wow, thank you. Like, well, Martin Luther King. Fantastic. You got a speech.
Got a speech.
All right. Bye.
Everybody who's coming. Peace out. Have fun. Sorry, Benchy.